Libra, how you doing? So for a start, channeled wise, just very quickly, I keep hearing manic or mania or mana or maja or mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia. So it might have something to do with around your mother. Okay, could be a lover, could be a Gemini or a Capricorn, because that would also be the Beelzebub has the devil for the sight. So it's kind of like the devil has the sight for me. Like the devil has their eye line or lion, something to do around a Leo. But I think you're being watched by a devil Libra. Now, if you are a Libra Capricorn, you've just got an eye on yourself or an eye on the tiger, which means a Leo. So cross comparison of what it is that I'm kind of channeling at the moment really is any star signs of something to do around Libra, Capricorn, and Leo, possible Gemini. And if the Leo could be an Aquarian, 8, because we read in numerology. But I'm hearing that the devil has his sight for me. Okay, so I don't know if you're being watched or you're just watching yourself quite a lot. Or Charlotte, I keep hearing Charlotte. Something to do with a charlatan. Anyway. So let's see. So the last 48 hours for Libra. I'm giving channeling a rest because I've got so much to do, Libra, that I actually can't actually get through to your energy. So I don't know what it is that's going on, but I can't seem to get through. Now, is that because you've blocked someone or they've blocked you and I can't seem to get through? Because I keep picking, hey, how you doing? Sorry you couldn't get through because there's a message been recorded, especially for you, Alchemy. But especially for you. But unless it's Jason or Donovan or Jason, Julian, Jason, Justin, Jackie, Jasmine, Jack, or anybody beginning with J, I think you may have blocked them out. That's kind of what I'm coming up against, is that you've blocked the person. You've probably not replied, or a knot of Pisces could be involved. You've got Pisces in your chart. And you may have received a message or something and you haven't replied to it. And you've blocked them for somehow. Like it might be, I'm also hearing howling wolf. Like it could be a Leo. I don't know. But I keep picking up, there's probably arguments going on around social media. Like Facebook, whatever it is, or Trevor, I'm also hearing Trevor, but blocked the person and they can't get through, and there's been a message been recorded, especially for you, but you're kind of like, nah, I'm just going to block that out, and I'm not, because I can't get through to it. So anybody beginning with J, I think you've possibly been blocked or have blocked the person. But I'm definitely... Okay, now I'm picking up on Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy. So Life Path 4 or Scorpio. I think if you've got all of these in your chart, man, I think you must be probably a mixed up person. I don't know, or Pucci or a Piscean. I don't know. I'm just hearing I'm blocking them because I don't want anything to do with the person. Or I'm blocking them and they don't never listen. I don't listen to them. They don't listen to me. And we talk, but it's pointless. So we're not speaking. Now, if you've not blocked a person, I'm just picking up on so many signs of Scorpio doing their own thing, okay, or Stephen, maybe. But okay, I'm doing my own thing. You do your own thing. You don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. I'm not talking to you. You're not talking to me. So we might as well just be silence. Okay, so I don't know who it is that you might not be talking to. Now, this could be a sibling, a friend, a brother, or even a cat or a dog. I don't know. But your energy is difficult to get through to because I'm picking up a lot of Scorpio energy and a lot of Life Path 4 energy and a lot of not speaking, not talking, not third-party energy because that's my Piscean 3. So, like I said, this could be a third party. It could even be a birthday party. I don't know. But I'm picking up really uncomfortable silence or just complete silence. It's a little bit like where you turn up somewhere or they turn up and it's just there's fucking hay bales that go by and it's just really uncomfortable. I mean, say if you've got an ex, for instance, right, and you've got visits from your children or you bump into your ex or something like that, and all of a sudden, the record player scratches and everybody goes silent, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. What am I going to say now I'm in front of this person? And you're... Because if I'm honest, I'm kind of picking up on some Libras that may have had children with previous partners, and the father or the mother drops the children off and they come knocking at the door and you're like, and you don't know what to say. Like, you're like, well, fuck, I don't really want to say anything to you, so I don't know what you're doing at my door. Right? Like that. Like the really uncomfortable silence. Now, if this isn't to do with like an ex or like I've got children, it might even be like a birthday party, I don't know, and something that has gone on between now and then. And like, because if it is a birthday, it would be Leo, I would say. I think it is. And it's kind of like this event that ends up being like, I've got nothing to say, like I don't know what to say. It's kind of like where you or someone's had an argument and they go to an event and you sit there looking at each other, gone out, as if to say, well, we're actually not getting on, but we're just like putting on a brave face, and you're kind of like, well, you know, I might as well just put, unless it's Paul McCartney or Paul Pauly or a Piscean or a Life Path 3, but like my brave face. So you might be getting really annoyed the fact that I've put like a new icon on and stuff like that. But what's behind the mask, right? So it's like my brave, because Paul McCartney did a song called My Brave, My Brave, My Brave Face. So it might be Ma, meaning Debbie Ma, or my Ma, meaning my mother. Okay, so like my mother's there, or my mother-in-law is there, or Laura is there, or Lucy, or a Lucifer, or a Capricorn. But like someone is there. So all I can pick up is like there's an event where people are like coming together, like John Lennon or Paul McCartney, and we're coming together, okay, and there's this like, oh god, the mother-in-law is there, and they don't like me, and they're not looking at me, and I'm not looking at them, and I feel like really uncomfortable, and I feel like out of place, and like it's around a Piscean, like a Life Path 3 or a Pisces. Like, I just feel out of place. Like, well, in Britain, we call it a spare prick at a wedding, really. I just feel like a spare prick at a wedding. Like, I'm just sitting there, I'm on my own, I've got no one to be with, like, and I'm on my own, and everybody else is in couples, everybody else is married, or whatnot, and I'm going to a fucking wedding, and, like, I'm just going to sit there and, like, think, oh, this is nice, and, you know, like, or a christening or something, I don't know, but, or an event where there's exes, and, like, say you've had a ex, and the child has grown up, right, and they've got married, or there's a christening in the family, or there's a birthday in the family, and it's a huge event, and when you go to it, there are possibly people that you haven't seen in quite some time, and there's like the ex-mother-in-law and the ex-father-in-law and the ex-baby's mother or father, and you're like, fucking hell. Like, it's like walking into like a I don't know, like a fire pit of like, nobody likes me and I'm the odd one out, and like everybody's looking at me a little bit strange. Now, I don't know whether this because there's been bad word. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what normally happens. When there's been arguments that have arisen in relationships, or there's been arguments that have ever arisen in any kind of family group setting, and you literally turn up there and there's been an argument, normally, or Norman, but like normally, or Norma, or anybody beginning like Norm, or Noel, or Nigel, or anybody beginning with like N-O, but like I turn up, okay, and there's an event, and family have all spoke about our relationship, about what's going on, and so on and so forth, and because they know that we've done this, and then the odd one out, like the person that's been told that has caused the argument, turns up, and that they all have heard something about this one person that may or may not be true. They could be victimised, and they're kind of like, hold on a minute, why is no fucker looking at me and speaking to me? And unaware to this poor little lamb or soul, they turn up where everybody's heard what this one person has done or hasn't done, right? Because it could be like I said, it could be where there's been a family argument, or there's been an argument between a couple, and all the mother and the father-in-law have all heard from one of their children that the culprit that's done all of this is him or her, okay? And then there's an event, and they're kind of like, well, I'm going to have to turn up. And you turn up, and then they're all like looking at this person as if to say, I know what you've done with my daughter or my son or my brother. I know that you're the culprit. I know what you've done. And they're not saying anything, okay? And they're making this person set out as if they're like the worst person on earth. So, I don't know. Like I said, man, it might be true. I don't know. It's your life. But, like, it might be true, but it might not be. That's what I'm saying. It's around a Pisces. Like, whether it's true or whether it isn't, it's kind of like someone has possibly said, oh, God, yeah, we're arguing. Or, yeah, they did this and they're not paying attention and they're not doing all of this stuff. And, oh, they're always doing that and they're always working. Or they're never, you know, Trevor, but they're never doing this and they're never doing that and they can't do this right and they're not paying me any attention. And then when it comes to this event, you're like, well, I've got to go because I've bought tickets, right? Or like, say, like it's something that you're going to, like an event of a ticket do, and it's like a band, and you're like, you book tickets with your ex or something, and you split up, and then you're kind of like, well, I suppose we could go. And you go, and you're like, fucking hell, bruv, have I really got to go there with that? And like, you're like, well, I bought tickets, I paid for it, so I've got to turn up because I paid. So it might even be like a train ticket. Or like, I don't know, on holiday, and you think, well, I'm just going to rock up and I'm going to go on holiday myself then, and you get there and you're on your own. Right? And you're like, well, this is fucking good, isn't it? Do you know, like a circumstance like that where I said I wasn't going to channel, I haven't got out the piece of paper and done, I just can't be asked to do it at the moment, but channeled wise, I'm really picking up like a very strange, uncomfortable event where it be around ex-baby mother or father, mother or mother-in-law, the mother-in-law or the father-in-law does not get on with the ex or the previous partner, well, previous or new, and they're like, fucking hell, bruv, you get through them, don't you? Like, well, yeah, no, and then, like, yeah, no, but no, yeah, like, and like, you get through them, don't you? Like, who's this? It's like, oh, hello, and they call the person the name, and no, that isn't that person, that's a new one. You're like, really? You've got a new girlfriend or boyfriend? Yeah, and you're like, fuck, I didn't know that. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, Jesus, you get through him, didn't you? I thought you were seeing, like, Mavis down the street. You're like, nah, that finished, like, last week. It's like I'm seeing someone new now. And you're like, fucking hell, bruv, I didn't know that one. You're like, yeah. Yeah, no, we had an argument back and, you know, started going off at the mouth, started, you know, manipulating me and God knows what else. And that didn't work out. And now I've met someone new. And anyway, so this is... you know, like a very strange, like, interview with maybe, like, the mother-in-law and father-in-law or ex-baby mama type sort of, like, you know, scenario like that, right? But I do keep picking up, like, this really uncomfortable event that seems to be turning up where I've got to turn up and this person's going to be there and it's going to make me feel really awkward not knowing what to say, right? So I got that for you, Libra. Whether that's making any sense... It could even be the sense that makes none. It might not make any sense at all, right? But to me, it kind of, I think I'm kind of getting there. A little bit. Like, I feel like I'm getting there. Like, I'm just about getting to the point where I've had enough. I think someone's on the verge of, like, or Verdi, the name Verdi. But, like, on the verge of, like, breakdown or on the verge of splitting up, where you're like, you know what, Tommy? Fucking hell, bruv, I'm filling up. I can't take it no more. And you're like, oh, Jesus. I mean, it could be someone from, like, Manchester or up north or Leeds or something. And you're like, oh, I can't take it anymore, man. I'm on verge of breaking up with this person. Because they can't. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. I equivotably cannot do it anymore. I can't. I'm sorry, Mavis, but the answer's no. I can't. I'm worn out, I'm knackered, I keep trying to get through to you, but you don't ever make up your mind. It's either yes or it's no, or it's maybe, or it should be, or it shouldn't, or is it, or isn't it? I don't know, you're doing me head in. Eddie, Ed, Edmonds, Adrian, anybody we can, Abigail, Amber, Abbott, right? But anybody beginning with like A, okay, A, or even AA, like someone could be going to AA and it's like they're really struggling around alcohol, and you turn up to a birthday party and you're on a diet, right? You're on a diet, you're like, you don't drink alcohol, you've stopped drinking alcohol, you don't smoke, you're trying to do all your spiritual cleansing stuff, and you get invited to this do, right? Let me draw a picture for you of what your future looks like, Libra. So you rock up at this do, right? You've got you've got everything in hand and everything in tow. You got your thermos and you got everything with you, and you got your bag and everything, and you're losing weight and you're doing well. You've stopped drinking, you've stopped smoking, you've really been focusing on yourself, and you rock up at this do, and they've got vol au vents, and they've got sausages, and they've got like burgers, and they've got chips, and you're like, well, fuck me, bruv. Like, you got any salad? Salad. Sal. Like, no, Sally, we don't have any salad. And you're like, oh my God, what do you mean you don't have any salad? You're like, well, I'm on a diet. You're like, well, bruv, I can just pop round the corner shop and get you a carrot. And you're like, nah, I'm ginger. Like, what, are you taking the piss? And you're like, well, I don't know, it could be silver. But you kind of like, well, no, I don't want a carrot. I actually just want like something that is not like calorie, filled with like stuff. And they're like, well, you'll be all right just for one day. Just break your rule and break your diet because you're here. So you might as well have burger and chicken. Fuck. And then you look across and everybody's drinking like alcohol. And you're kind of like, yeah, I'm a recovering addict. You're like, oh. Well, 1 or 2 pints won't hurt you, will it? And you're like, no, bruv, I'm an addict. Or have been. And you're like, I can't. I'm like teetotal. And you're like, no. Alcoholic. Get it in you. And you're like, no, bruv, like I'm I'm a recovering addict. Like, I'm trying not to eat. Right? I'm actually trying not to like drink any alcohol. Like, I'm abstinent from all of that sort of stuff. I don't need you lot telling me to have it. What, you a narc? Right? And you turn up and you're like, man, I am now really uncomfortable because I can't drink, I can't smoke. What can I do? Right, and you're like, well, that sounds like a song to me, so I might as well just keep repeating that in my head. Can't drink, can't smoke. What can you do? Can't drink, can't smoke. What can't I do? Oh, well, I don't really want to be here, to be quite honest with you. I might as well go home and have a salad and sit there and scratch me balls and just watch the TV. Like, like that, right? So, anyway, let's draw on a picture for your future, what you might have coming up, Libra. Stuff to look forward to. What do you know? Anyway, so let's see, Libra. Libra. So what's been going on with the last 48 hours for Libra? Well, fucking family affair is what I'm hearing. Like 4, Scorpio, life path 4. Like, oh yeah, they're not doing anything. They're just at home. They're always working. They're exhausted. Like, I've got mania. They've got bipolar or schizophrenia. They're like, yeah, I'm worn out now. I think you are. You work too much, Tyrone. But like, yeah, I'm absolutely knackered, bruv. I'm worn out. I've got, I'm fucking had a manic episode. I've been up sleeping. Up sleeping? Really? Have you been up sleeping? Fuck, what, you a sleepwalker? Or was your name Walker? Or Luke Skywalker? Oh, Luke. Oh, okay. Sorry. Deceased loved one coming through there, man. Story to tell you. She actually subscribed to this channel. I went to the boozer yesterday to see my old mate Damo that I ain't seen in ages. That's a Virgo. Right? I ain't seen him in ages. And I had to go and pay me tax. And I went and paid all of that off. And I seen my mate Damo. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to go and find him. So he's in the Cross Keys, right? And I've gone in there. And there's this woman behind the bar, right? Really lovely woman. She's actually subscribed. She's a Virgo. And we were like talking, and I said, what do you do? And I was talking to Dame, and I said, oh, I'm a psychic medium, and so on and so forth. And started talking about it, and then I'm going cold. And then I said, you've got a spirit around you, a little girl, and she's absolutely hold her hand over her face, and started like, she doesn't cry, but she started to well up, and she said, oh my God, my daughter. And I said, she lost her daughter at an earlier age. And I said, yeah, she's right with you. There you go, I'm going cold. I said, she's standing right next to you now. I said, she loves you to bits. And started to like channel her daughter for her. Just walked into the boozer and all of a sudden I'm working. And she's going, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, how on earth did you know? And I said, well, I'm a psychic. I channel deceased loved ones. And it just, there's been coming out through the readings. And I said, well, you are obviously relating to a lot of my clients at the moment that I've been doing on here, right? So, but anyway, long story short, Libra, you could be called Short, or Gary, or Tina, or Gary Shaw, or to be sure from Ireland, or Idaho, Louisiana, Louise, Anna, Polly, Anne, Poles. So you could be Polish, okay, Polish. Anyway, yeah, they're knackered, bruv. They're always like just working all the time. They're not really doing anything. It's just like, I'm exhausted trying to change this person. You're exhausting my chakras, Rita. Oh my god, man, I can actually hear a mother talking to their hairdresser. I can. Like, oh yeah, they don't do anything, they're always in their bedroom, they just work, they're not talking to me, and it's absolutely exhausting. You've never really, oh my god, my son or my daughter, and like, gab, or Gabby, or Abby, or Abba, and they're like, gab, and you're like, yeah, they don't ever do anything, they're just in there all the time, they're always all sleeping, or they just don't talk to me, it's always their fault, they just isolate themselves away. I can't understand why I can't seem to change them. And yeah, so, well, what do they do for a living anyway? Well, I don't really know, so I don't know. I don't work for the sky or something. Right? I really can. Like, someone's embarrassed of their son or daughter and they don't like to tell them what it is that they do for a living. Welcome to Steve's life. Right? So I'm picking up for you. Or it's someone that doesn't work. That's finding it very difficult to work. Now I'm out of work at the moment. You know. Anyway, this is where people, man, this is where people argue over relationships when one of you has got the day off. That comes up a lot. When one of you has got the day off and the other one doesn't, you're like, well, why don't you just get some rest? You're like, well, I want to do something with you. And you're like, well, I can't because I'm working. Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, well, that doesn't mean I have to. Like, well, yeah, I'm working. Well, yeah, well, I'm at home. It's my day off. Yeah, so how does that make sense? Well, it doesn't. That's why the sentence don't make any. You're like, okay, well, I've got to make money. I'm sorry, but I've got bills to pay. I've got stuff to do. I'm busy. You're like, you know, I'm busy today. Sorry, I'm washing my hair. Someone could have got into an argument and you're actually ignoring each other here. And you're like, yeah, no, I'm actually not speaking to you anymore. Well, okay, so, well, I just needed to ask, no, sorry, I'm washing my hair tonight. And you're like, oh, okay, so you don't want to come over then? No, I'm washing my hair. What, it takes you about 5 hours to wash your hair? Well, you got fucking alopecia? And you're like, well, no. But, well, it's like, well, you wear a wig, don't you? Can't you just take it off and stick it in the tumble dryer in a washer? You're like, yeah, no, well, I'm washing my hair and then I'm actually watching Steve on online, so I'm way busy, I ain't got time for you. You're like, oh, so you're obviously acting like a fucking child then. You're like, oh, really? Oh, you want to... Oh, okay. Boop. That's all I've got to pick it up. You know. Couples, right? Couples therapy. Anyway, I'm also hearing daycare. Day or daycare centre. Something to do with, like, children or daycare centre. So, oh dear, someone is definitely pissed on someone's parade here. I don't know. It could be, like I said, it could be children. It could be like when children are actually talking to their mothers or not. You know, it's like, oh God, they're so draining and tired, man. It's just, I feel just like they're just shatting my cup, you know. It's kind of like, you're right there, Pigeon, how you getting on? Oh, Jesus Christ, man, now I've got shit on my car. Could be dealing with a Life Path 7 or a Cancerian somewhere. But you're like, oh, I'm absolutely exhausted. They're not speaking to me, Rita. You know, you're like, why? Well, you know, they're just happy being on them and, you know. I keep picking up, like, conversations between people, like a very conversationist. Well, we're going to have to talk about something, so we might as well talk about your life. And you're like, no, actually, I don't want to talk about my life because my life is my life. It's not yours. Okay. You really could be dealing with, like, a water sign here, Pisces and Scorpio Aries placements. But yeah, because my pages, they're very difficult to know whether they're actually talking or not, you know, because they think, you know. Well, I'll give you something to think about. You're like, yeah, well, I'm not speaking to you, I'm washing my hair. And you're like, oh, God, well, should I send them a message or should I not then? Because they're not replied. This feels like where someone takes their time to reply to a message and you get into arguments because someone hasn't replied to the message. You know, like, why didn't you answer my call? And you're like, sorry, I was asleep. Why? Well, I was working like a 12-hour shift. I just got home and I didn't hear my phone go off. And, like, how am I supposed to answer the phone if I'm asleep? You're like, well, you're supposed to. You know, fuck no, am I no. I've been working. You know, I've been working hard. When I get home, really, like, you're like, well, why didn't you answer the phone? Because I'm working, Tyrone. That's why. It's really what I keep picking up. So it's like this, someone takes their time to either reply. Like you send a message and they take, I don't know, a week or a month to actually reply to a message, right? or lie to a message. Why am I hearing that? Well, I'm going to have to lie to this message and just say something. Right, I'm just going to have to lie. Ooh, well, it could be a little white lie. Could be Elijah. You're right, Elijah. Woo! Anyway, so Libra. So, yeah, the clients, people, I don't know, that's what I'm saying, man. These mean, well, I'm going to give you a message anyway really quickly, and I'm waiting for a reply, and the other person's like, I'm just going to take my time. And you could have well have got into arguments between, like, how fast messaging has gone between one partner and the other. I have got equivotably no idea why people get into arguments when they message people when they're at home asleep on 12-hour shifts, or they make an absolute racket when the person's just got home and they're tired and everything else, and I'm fucking exhausted, and then all of a sudden my phone goes off and you're like, oh God, man, now what? Right, you're like, I just need some sleep, right? I just really need to, because, man, if you're like me and you've got Capricorn in the second house and you don't get your rest, that to me means that I'll start getting very grouchy. If I've overspent all of my energy and all of my time and work because of Capricorn being a very grounded work energy and a workhorse, okay, if I start losing all of my energy, I start like becoming very groggy and tired, and I have to recuperate my energy, because if I don't, I start yawning, I get very tired, I get very grouchy, and just kind of like, oh, yeah. Like, that's about as much as you would get from me, right? So it's like this, where you're possibly with someone, but the messaging has gone out, but it isn't being replied to on time from the other partner, because they might want a reply just like that. And if you don't, they might get paranoid because you haven't. Right? So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not clarifying these sides, but you know me as a reader, I normally start picking up on like the messages with or without cards or before, okay? So, let's have a look at the next 48 hours for Libra, what they've got going on, please. So you got the World in reverse and the Five of Wands on this side. So not only do we do the last 48 and the next 48, but we also compare now to then. So a you versus them kind of energy, right? So you really could be, like I said, you could be in a third party energy, but there's distance. Like, you're forming more of a distance from this person because of the arguments that have arisen here. Because it's kind of like, well, it's not resolving anything with us speaking, so we might as well not, because it's actually easier with a knot, which is a 3, which is a hangman and a Pisces swinging from a tree, Kissing. But we're not even doing that, because we're not even really speaking, because of someone has started an argument over what? The distance between yourself, like how long it takes to travel to see your partner, work, distance because of narcissism and gaslighting. I've split up with my ex and I've moved to the other city or town, or just like a few doors down, and they're my neighbour and we don't get on, and I know they don't live very far, but it causes me a hell of a lot of conflict because I don't really want to go out because I might bump into them, right? Because I don't want conflict. This energy here doesn't want conflict because everybody else is just fucking exhausted by doing it. So it's like, oh God, they're wearing me out. Well, you know, they're always doing this, they're always doing that. They're just tired all the time. You know, they don't put any input into things. Well, that's work, unfortunately. And like Steve's always said, if you got children, welcome to a very hard life of life, really, because you got kids. You'll be sacrificing every moment and every hour and every penny that you have for the rest of your life for them. And then when you get older, you think, well, I won't when I get older because I shall be kicking them out. And then I shall start my life. No, because when you get older, you will be tired. You'll be start thinking, well, I've give up like 30, 40, 50 years of my life, you know, for my children and whatnot, or I've given up 30 years at least for my younger kids, and now I was probably 30 when I had my children, now I'm 60, now I'm 64, when you get older, losing my hair, many years from now, do-do-do-do-do. Will you be believing me a Valentine? Oh, well, you forgot my Valentine's gift, didn't you? You didn't even know it was Valentine's Day. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but I'm working. It's like, it's date night. Like, yeah, but you forgot, you know, you forgot my birthday. You forgot this, you forgot that. You don't never, Trevor, like, you know, you don't never worry about my birthday. You don't worry about this, you don't worry about that. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm sorry, man, but I'm like extremely exhausted and we don't communicate that often. So am I supposed to remember the fact that it's Valentine's Day or remember that it's your birthday? And you're like, hold on. if you can remember the 5th of November when Steve's dad died. He did actually. But like on Guy Fawkes night, unless your name's Guy or Jai or Gianna or Jason or Julian or Jasmine. But like, you know, it's kind of like, well, you don't ever think about me anyway. You know, you don't never send me gifts, cards, birthday cards. These are like where there's been exes that are involved around, like, you know, controlling exes, and they've never really had too much of an input into a child's life, and the child doesn't never really receive birthday gifts or birthday presents or congratulations on your wedding or your, like, you know, whatever it is. There's been arguments within a family group here, I really feel, around exes that have had children or fathers, and the one of the partners here doesn't receive any, like, I mean, like me, you could be like an only child, and then when everybody brings out like this is my brother, my father, my grandfather, or my nan died, you know, and like when it comes up to like Father's Day and stuff, like you're the only person that doesn't, you know, you don't have a father and you can't celebrate Father's Day, and you know, and like grandmother and you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, now going on to, so that's like exes with children. So what I am picking up here for a lot of you is like distance between if there's a partnership or someone, because this is soul group. This is where if it isn't happening to you specifically Libra, it's happening within like your siblings, your brother, your sister, your father-in-law, mother-in-law, blah blah blah, right? So it's kind of like everybody all of a sudden is just kind of like, oh man, I'm too exhausted to keep fighting. Like it isn't kung fu fighting, bruv. It does what it says on the tin. I can't be asked to keep fighting with you. You don't listen. I don't. You don't. I don't. No one's right. No one's wrong. So it's no point. Okay. There is no point to it. Okay. So we might as well just calm down, right? So Carmel, Mel, Melissa, Maria, Michael, Jackson, Julian, Jason, Justin, Jackie, Jasmine, Jackie, Jackie's son or daughter, right? So, or daughter-in-law or mother-in-law. But man, I'm picking up like group activity of like slugfest of families all up in here. Like, I am, no kidding. I am. You all right, son? How you getting on? On the head, son? Libra, Zebra, Debra, Deborah. And then you get this happy-go-lucky, sad kind of feeling. The only person that's like winning or feeling happy here is a Piscean. I'm just putting it out there. It could be a little baby. I don't know. But like a Pisces, they're upright here, and they're like, yes, I'm ready to go. I'm a little fish. I'll swim any way you want me to. What do you want me to do now? Oh, well, I want you to do this. Okay. Now I want you to do that. And you're like, hold on a minute. Is that left or right? Okay, right. Okay, so now you're right. No, I'm right. Well, fuck, bro, I don't care. I'm happy on my own. If you don't want to be here, if you don't like it, I'm just happy on my own. Right? I've found self-love. I know where happiness is, and that isn't here. That isn't here arguing. So if you're not happy with me, well then that's down to you. I'm happy. If you ain't, that ain't my decision to make. If there's a split up or an argument here, whatever it is, even if it's a breakup, permanent one, it's like a permanent marker, right? I'm happy with you or without you. It's up to you. But if I have individually here found what everybody searches for, which is self-love, then I don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks, Tyrone. Because I've found what I'm looking for. But what I haven't looked for and what I'm not looking for is constant nagging. Nag, 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 nag. Okay. Unless your name's B-Hag. Okay. B-Hag. Or B. Brian. Anybody beginning with B. Libra. See? Clients... People, chilled people. God, I'm going to have to make the t-shirt. People. Right, actually everything is open. There's a whole 12 star signs of t-shirt range that I've made. New website. Hopefully you guys might be interested. I'm going live very soon because everything is turned up now that allows me to go live. Okay, so I'm going to be giving giveaways of like 10%, 20%, 50%, free month. Okay, we're going to have some fun. And if you're lucky, you might be one of the lucky people if you join when I go live on here, that you might win a subscription to the new website. I'm going to be able to do that loads. You can buy individual readings now. So if you like the weeklies and you don't want to join the subscription-based ones, where there's 3 or 4 options of that, you can actually just download the one weekly reading at a very cheap price, and that really does help me out here, okay? But, you know, the options are there. I will tell you towards the end, but again, there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of spying, there's now and again gen, or an N-gen number 9, Life Path 9 or Virgo placement. There's a now and again type sort of communication. Now, someone here could even be having their eye on a new person, because you've got new and new and new. So you could have your eye on a new person thinking, fuck this malarkey. I really, really cannot be doing with all of this argument. And if I ain't good enough, and I can't support you physically, mentally and emotionally, then there ain't no point. And if there ain't no point, I might start looking elsewhere. So some of you might have met a new person, and that is what is on your mind here, is a new person and the old. I mean, there could be old and new here. It could be something new, something blue, something old, you know, I don't know. Someone's too old or too young. This might be where someone's too young. Like I said, you could be dating a younger person, and their outlook and their aspect of what a relationship is different because they're younger. They have not really experienced relationships. Like if you've been a person that's had quite a few relationships and you pretty much know how a relationship works, there's nothing wrong with people that have had multiple relationships. A person that's had multiple relationships is either one, a liar and a cheater, or is actually a person that knows how a relationship goes and works for them because they've been in relationships. But for a person that hasn't, when they get in a relationship, they're learning what a relationship is like with a person. That's why you go through different people, because each person that you're in a relationship with sees the relationship differently than what other people do. Okay, which means that one of you may agree in marriage and the other person doesn't want marriage. One of you may want children and the other one doesn't want children. One of you might want to buy a house and the other one doesn't. One of you might just want like casual dating without a certificate to say that I have to abide by your rules when I'm dating. Dating is much easier really than marriage and stuff like that. Okay, because as soon as you say, okay, we're girlfriend and boyfriend, a label is attached to the conditioning of what a relationship is. That's when normally people go to like, okay, I think you're in Norma or Normington, Laura, but like how a relationship's supposed to work. Okay, we're supposed to do this. That's what society has bred into us. That, you know, we're supposed to spend every waking hour with one another. We're supposed to have children and struggle financially and mentally with one another and the child. And we're supposed to do that because we want children. So we sacrifice all of our free time and our life and everything for the love of my child. So that's your life. That's what you've got there. You spend the rest of it. It's like an everlasting club book to Argos, really. Like, it's not a 5 month, 6 month, 12 month certificate as a child where I can pay it off over, like, unless you join my subscription on my new thing, and then you can join annually. Right? But like a child is not something that comes from a club book. And by the time you finish paying it off, it's yours. People, really, you know, you don't get to pay off a child for like 12-month expiry date and then they've expired. They're like, well, now they're 12. I own them. So now what do? They actually own me. Your child is the one that owns you. Trust me. You don't own a child or have a child. Your child owns you for the rest of your life. They're paying for it. Thanks for delivering me into this shit show of a life where you don't get on with my father or my mother, or you don't speak, or you manipulate me. You keep trying to own me, telling me what to do. No, you don't own me. You don't owe me shit. You gave birth to me. I do what I want. So who owns who? Have you ever looked at it like that, Libra? Well, you might also want to join the gold tier or the teaching tier. If you join the gold subscription tier, you get access to all weeklies and monthlies and all the teaching and all of the live Q&A where we can go live with one another and speak verbally or just in the chat or on camera. Okay? When it all gets set up, hopefully, and everybody hopefully comes over there. But if you want your weekly reading, this is just a laugh, right? If you want your weekly reading of the aspect of what is to come, then you'll need to join the new website. Okay, Patron is more than likely closing down. Okay, the new website, I've spent ages designing it, and you'll more than likely love it, because I looked at it and it is so easy to navigate through, because I've done all filters, taglines, everything that you join, it's just all there. I can move it about and say, okay, you can't find that reading, let's put it to the top of the list. And there it is, weeklies, monthlies in groups, taglines. It's there on your thing. So you can have a monthly, you can buy it separately. If you just want this one reading, you can buy it separately if you want to see what your week's going to look like. Okay, rent or buy, okay, depending on what I've got it up as. So you can do that, okay. You can join a monthly subscription, which is just for the monthlies. Or you can join like bronze, silver, gold. Okay, silver is obviously monthlies and weeklies. Gold is monthlies, weeklies, and teaching and Q&As. Okay, so it's up to you, subscription based or buy and rent and let. Okay, but I would very much appreciate your support, guys. Don't forget to hit the like, share, comment, subscription and all that stuff, and the bell icon in order to stay tuned when I go live. You'll know that I'm live because I'll be talking to you via the camera and it will say live. Okay, so that's if you've got all notifications set. Okay, so there's going to be plenty of giveaways. If you want one now, just look in the description below, and every tier that you join, one-time offer to one person is 25% discount on any tier that you join. You get 25% off. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, Libra. I really do appreciate it. If you want to join, links are below. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.